Hello, beautiful humans, and thank you so much for joining us today. We are a group of Jay Shetty certified life and success coaches from the inaugural class who have come together with the intention to provide a space for people of color and children of immigrants to share their personal experiences, be seen and feel heard, and to give back to this community through life coaching opportunities. Each episode varies in theme or topic, the coaches involved, and the style, structure, or approach of life coaching. For those of you watching, we hope to demonstrate a sliver of the life coaching process, life coaching tools in action, inspire reflection and learning, and remind you that you are not alone. Enjoy.
Go. Hello, beautiful people, my friends, and today we have another episode of Coaching and Chill, and we have Janice from Southern California, and I want to add some fun facts, and Janice likes to be outdoors. We have Heather from Vancouver, and Heather likes watching one episode of the show The Office every night. We have Shafaq from Toronto, and Shafaq likes to dance. Totally on you with that. And then we have Kusum from Seattle. Kusum likes to bake, which I didn't know. And my question is like, where are all the traits? Like, why we don't have the traits here? Send it over,
I'm
please.
paying the price
Next
for all
time,
the
send
baking
it
that I
over.
did now with the green juice. If you want, be my guest.
Thank you. We have Pri from London, and Pri likes to work out. And we have, well, first, back to me. We have Talia from New York, and I like roller coasters, not emotional ones, the real ones. And we have a beautiful, inspiring guest, our last episode with Eman, and Eman likes anime, right, Eman? Thank you for joining us for this for 3 sessions, for 3 episodes. We're super excited to see where you are now after this journey, and also like to want to know like what came up for you in the past week, and what is the next level Eman is today.
Thank you for that. Heather, I just want to say I think we're soul sisters. Definitely love The Office. Definitely watch it all the time.
Okay, the US office?
The US office.
Nice.
A lot came up for me this week, and I was especially like thinking yesterday. I wrote down my answer so that I don't forget, but I was looking at the questions that you gave me last week to reflect the growth work, and one of them was, how will I get closer to unleashing my power? And when I was like thinking and really reflecting on that, I was thinking that I think the reason why I need to fully own that power before I unleash it. And I'm not owning it because I'm scared. Because I know that with more power comes more responsibility. And I'm just like, every time I'm like, am I really ready for more? Am I going to be able to do more? So that was a big one for me, is that I think I'm stopping myself because of that fear.
Yo, you dropping some Uncle Ben right now? Some Spider-Man? Is that you?
From Spider-Man.
Yes. Oh, I hear you. Tell me, what are you scared of?
I'm scared of biting more than I can handle. Like, I feel like if I actually unleash my power and I start doing things, and I still don't know exactly what is it that I want to do, but if I achieve, like, just thinking of unleashing my power and going to places that I want to go to, now I have this doubt of, am I going to be able to handle it, or is this going to be too much for me? Am I going to be successful, or am I going to fail? Even though I understand, I've worked on my fear of failure, and I understand that failure is only, growth and learning opportunities. So there's nothing to fear there from. But I feel it's more the self-doubt that's like telling me, are you really going to be able to handle it?
Janice?
Iman, what's the greatest responsibility you've taken on so far in your life?
Being a single mother. That is definitely the greatest responsibility that I've taken on so far. And it's been obviously it's been wonderful. I love my daughter, but it also sucked so much energy out, and it's still sucking so much energy out of me, obviously. Specifically when you have challenging children, and my child definitely is challenging in a positive way, but it's very she's very smart and she's amazing, but it's really hard to keep up with her, and to keep up with her, it's very, very energy consuming. So yeah.
And then when you mentioned responsibility, it brought me back probably to the first episode when you were talking about that like responsible person that you are, that you're taking a responsibility for everything and everyone around you. And another, like, and a quote came up to me that, and I don't remember who said that, but there's no freedom without responsibility. What do you need to take responsibility for your own happiness?
Well, Talia, that's a powerful question. What do I need to take responsibility for my own happiness? I guess it's going back to responsibility of respecting myself and building my boundaries in order to actually get not get my happiness, but I mean, like, yeah.
I'm gonna wheel it back up. You said you're biting more than you can handle, and I heard you say something in regards to you're fearful of what could happen after, right? And I'm hearing this fear of success. What happens when a mom becomes successful? Is she gonna be able to handle it all? What happens if you're successful? What's the best thing that happens if you become successful?
What happens if I become successful is that I will be that's a very good question. What happens if I become successful is that I will have fully owned my power, and I would be helping others, specifically younger girls, to also own who they are and carve their own path and build their futures the way they want it. So I would be making an impact and helping others remove obstacles in order to become the best versions of themselves.
That's beautiful, Eman. You're doing that. What ways can you step into your power right now?
What ways? That would be after actually, I wanted to say after and actually. So I would specifically talking about Kusum's question last week about the treasure hunt. And then that led me to self-trust. So the key that I need to do to actually unlock my power is to trust myself and trust the process. So what I need to do right now is to be patient and trust the process and trust myself, because there's a lot of self-doubt. And with self-trust, I'll be able to move forward and actually step into my power.
I hear that we are going in different directions here. You mentioned like the fear of success, you mentioned boundaries, you mentioned self-doubt and trust. Where do, like, what direction, like, how are they connected for you?
They're connected in the way, like I said, when it comes to fear of success, I think it's not really fear of success. It actually stems from the self-doubt itself. So self-doubt is the core of most of what I think is happening. And by conquering the self-doubt and having the self-trust, that will help me conquer the rest of the obstacles that I have and help me step into my power. And the reason I'm saying that is because a few things happened this past week where I've been manifesting and meditating about certain things, and then they just came true. Like it came out of nowhere, and I was like, oh my God, how did this even happen? And then right now, right before we started, I was looking at my vision board that I have right here, and I actually have on it self-trust. So it was like speaking to me, and it was telling me, this is what you need. There's a reason why I have it on my vision board. It's because I need to work on it, and I need to trust myself.
I'm glad Talia asked that question, because I was about to ask the same damn thing. I was about to say, what, fear of success? And now you're talking about trusting yourself and trusting the process and being patient. When I take you back, you said if you are successful, you're fully in your power, you're helping others, especially younger girls, you're making an impact, you're removing the obstacles for them so they can be their best self. And right now it's about trusting yourself and trusting the process and being patient so that all of that can happen, correct?
Yes.
Okay, cool. What is it that in regards to, what's the obstacle with you right now in trusting yourself? Like, what's coming up of you right now? What's in the way of you trusting yourself?
It goes back to all the criticism that I have been raised to believe about myself. And it's about removing these negative beliefs, those limiting beliefs. And by working on them, by working on them, this would be my way of conquering that self-doubt.
I was going to ask, where do you think this self-doubt stems from? Okay, so what do you think is like the main limiting belief that you want to conquer and work through right now?
The main limiting belief that I have is that I'm not, and when I say I'm not good enough, it stems from I'm not organized enough, because I've always had this belief about me from people around me of, well, you're not organized enough, you never stick with things, if you're not even able to do this here, how are you going to do it outside? So that is the major one that I need to work on.
So you said the belief is I'm not organized enough? Just to clarify.
It feels like I'm not good enough to be organized to be successful, if that makes sense. It's like, it's complicated. It's like I can be organized, but I'm not the type of person that will be ever organized in order to achieve that success. Does that make sense? I know it's complicated, but it comes like, well, when I started unpeeling the onion layers, and I was just like, where is this coming from? And I realized that this is what I've been raised on the notion that even if you clean your room, you're not going to keep it clean because this is who you are. So it's not like, oh, nice, you cleaned your room. Oh, well, let's see how long this will last this time.
What about Eman today? Is it true for you?
Is it true? I believe it's not true, but I'm working, like, I know it's not true, but it's the residual feeling of that limiting belief is still there. Like, yes, it's not true, but I'm not showing the evidence of it not being true. And that's the issue is, well, am I supposed to prove it? Just like Pri said, why do you need the validation of people around you? Well, and actually, this would be the thing that I need to work on, is instead of waiting for others to validate me, I need to start validating myself and filling that void instead of waiting for others to fill it for me.
Can I just say the chemistry here is incredible? Because Talia is asking the question I'm going to ask. Janice is asking the question that I'm asking, the question that Janice wants to ask. You're saying the things that I want to just bring into it. It's crazy right now. This is real good. It's real good. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And you said it right there. It's that validation. Yeah. And what I'm hearing when you talk about these negative beliefs and this criticism, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, it's coming from somewhere quite close to home, and people telling you you're not organized. How can you do things there if you can't do things here, kind of thing? And you feel like you need to prove yourself towards that. What I'm also hearing is that you are caring so much about what the inner circle has to say about you that you are stopping yourself from reaching out to those young girls right now who need to have these obstacles removed. You are stopping yourself from them being their best self. You're not unleashing their power because you care so much about what people think. Now, we don't need to go deep into it right now, but I'm going to ask a close-ended question. Is there anyone in particular that makes you feel this way?
In a negative way, you mean, or in a positive?
Yeah, in a negative way.
Yes, there is.
Okay, cool.
Why do you think you equate organization with success?
Because that's how I was raised. I was raised, if you're not organized, then you're never going to be successful. How can you be successful without being organized? And organization starts at home. So if your room is not organized and your home is not organized, then how can you be organized? And it's like a whole other belief that now I'm working on, because I was recently, a few months ago, I was diagnosed with ADHD, and that actually made so much sense to me. There was so many things that had happened in the past where I'm like, okay, this makes sense. This makes sense. It's not that I don't want to, it's just because my brain works differently. So now I need to understand how my brain works in order to actually improve this about myself. So having that diagnosis actually really helped me remove certain negative ideas about myself. But because it's been like 30 something years of like these persisting beliefs, I think it just needs more time with me just working on them and removing the weeds of, what was planted.
We all hear you. Like everyone is nodding and like, yes, we see you. And and it sounds that that diagnosis was actually in a way liberating for you, and embracing it was one step forward for you. What's again, like coming like to now, to today, what's your best idea of what's the next step to liberate yourself more?
Continue working with a coach on liberating myself and improving my skills. And I've already have this planned, wink, wink, with Shafaq, so she'll be my coach. And I've realized that this was the best thing for me to do. Is, yes, I can probably do it on myself, but it's going to take me much longer if I do it by myself. But specifically, even after coming on Coaching and Chill, just the transformation that has happened within those 3 weeks for me is just phenomenal. I just look at myself, I'm like, this was the first me, and then now today I'm like, I couldn't have done this by myself. I would have done it like it would take me years. So for me, I decided to work with a coach so that I can actually work on those limiting beliefs and stepping into my power and becoming the best version of myself.
Balling. That's what we want to hear. Come on. Enjoy yourself. That's what we like to hear. I had a really random question I wanted to ask you, but I'm going to say that I'm going to send that to you individually. Again, I still want to go back to that whole concept of, because I asked you a very close-ended question, is there one person in particular? And you said yes. And I definitely feel that it hits you as well. Like it probably still circles around, and whether or not they're there or not, it circles in your mind. We can't control what people say. We can't control their actions. We can control how we react to it moving forward. So after this session today, what are you going to start doing differently the next time you hear that same message, or you get that same person say that same thing to you that makes you go back into this place where you feel like you're not good enough? Boom.
Ooh. I need to start changing the
I'm going to stop you there.
message.
I'm going to stop you there. You don't need
Not
to do
need.
anything. What are you going to start doing?
I will change. I will change it. And I will change how I receive it. And the way I will do that is that I will, I've been writing, new empowering beliefs and stuff, and I need to write one specific. I want to see which one would be the most suitable one for this situation, and and write it every day with the rest of the things that I write, so that I can rewire my brain on when I hear it, it doesn't trigger me. And I can actually just remember the new empowering belief instead of the old belief.
Ooh, I love that. Thank you for sharing a process that you'll implement with us and others. I mean, I feel like you have a great plan. I'm so happy to hear that you are going to work with someone, and this has been so valuable for you. So like, I want to bring it back to the fun that you've mentioned in other episodes. Like, how else will you incorporate fun, Eman, and what Eman loves to do?
That's a very good question, because I did reflect a lot about the fun, and I've decided to push myself out of my comfort zone and do more things that I enjoy, such as being outdoors, dance more. I love dancing. What else did I wanted to start trying new things like sketching or coloring and yes, free. Because I feel like I've never really gave myself the permission to try new hobbies. I've always never really had a hobby, because when people ask me, I'm like, I don't know, I like watching TV. That was my hobby, and that's not a hobby. So pushing myself to try new things, yes, that would be my way of incorporating more fun, to understand, like, yes, I know some things, I already know that some things make me happy, and they're fun for me, but then I want to venture out into other things and see what other fun things I can incorporate as well.
Love that. Sorry, I want to disrupt the flow, just ask a follow-up question, or just sort of bring in this correlation that for maybe you to consider, but it's like that organization, to me, organization is like structure and rigidity. And then I hear you wanting to implement like fun as something creative and trying something new. So I just can't wait to hear about how that might pave, what new journeys and stuff that paves for you in the future. So thank you for sharing that. Okay. Oh my God, I don't want to let you go. That's not, no, stay with us forever.
No, I want to stay with you guys forever.
Not forever, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to,
Yeah.
as a, bringing that energy and magic, you know, like I remember that you said it's your mantra, like make magic happen. And that's what you've been doing. And I really love how you said like the positive note of that you see that you manifested certain things in your life, and that self-trust is there on your vision board. So everything is in your hands, and that power is within you. And so today, like just like a brief sum up before I go with Hada, Shafaq, and Kusum for their reflections. Like today we are really like dived in different deep oceans, I would call them, because it was like power and responsibility, like taking that responsibility for yourself, for your own happiness. Like we talked about the external validation and approval, and looking for battling between self-doubt and self-trust, right? Those are like all big topics, and I think that like we're gonna continue talking about it probably like on Clubhouse, and like we hope to see you there too, so you can give us, you know, even more reflections on that. But yeah, like it's so powerful it's been powerful to have you here with us, and I just want to thank you, and I'll give a word to Heather.
Hello, my soul sister. You and I are connected in so many ways, actually. I'm gonna talk to you more about this, but so many ways. But I kind of wanted to, rather than summarize, I want to ask you another question, and I'm asking you this mother to mother, because I have a little girl as well. And a lot of times when I struggle with things for myself, I relate it to how can I be a role model for my daughter. And so I want you to think of your daughter and what lessons she could learn from you and how you're going to model your behavior moving forward. So if ever she's in a situation where someone's unkind to her or forcing their limiting beliefs on her, how could she learn from her amazing mom how to behave in those situations, and how to, yeah, just be her authentic, amazing self. So that's something just for you to think about. But I love you, and I feel like you are incredible, as you know. and I can't wait to hear everything that changes for you, even still moving forward, and to be witness to it. So thank you so much for sharing with me and opening your heart.
Thank you.
Shafaq?
Hi, Eman. Who said TV is not a hobby? It's my hobby. I love it. I have to have it every single day. But thank you so much for being so vulnerable and open and dedicated to your growth. And I thank all the coaches for doing half the work for me, because when she comes to me, she's like already prepped. But I wanted to ask you a couple of questions for you to reflect on, because we talked about rewiring beliefs, and that's a tool, by the way, for whoever is watching. If you want to rewire your belief, write the limiting belief, replace it with an empowering one, and then keep writing it, because that's exactly how your neural pathways are going to form. But you mentioned that it's going to take more time or it's going to take a lot more time to rewire beliefs or practice something new. And in my head, I was like, who said? Like, is that a new limiting belief that it's going to take more time? So just think about that. Like you're limiting yourself by saying that it's going to take more time, and it's adding as an excuse to be like, oh, it hasn't been enough time for me to rewire it, so I'm okay, kind of thing. That's one. And then you keep saying you want to define your power, you're going to unleash your power. Be specific. What does that mean? What does your power mean to you? What is it that unleashing your power looks like to you specifically, right? And then how would you like to define success if it's not organization and rigidity? There are a lot of creatives that I know that are wildly successful. Like, who said it has to be organized? So finding models or role models that you can model after to see, oh, this is my kind of personality, and look at them, right? They were successful. So just having that evidence, if you are working on internal validation, then have the external validation from people who are like you, not against you. And I just want to thank you, and I love you, and you're amazing.
Love you too. Thank you.
Eman, all I will say is thank you for being you here and everywhere. And that's what I love the most about you, because you're just you. And I read this somewhere, be your US to you. And when I think of that phrase, you're the one person that comes to my mind. So you're already there.
Thank you.
So lots of love. And Heather and Janice kind of stole what I was going to kind of bring back to you. So the chemistry is rocking and rolling today in this session. But I will still touch on a few things. One of the things that for me, that stood out every time you were saying something is I felt compelled to ask you, is that your own belief or your own understanding, or whose beliefs have you taken on? Because every time you answer a question that one of the coaches asked, everything you said was, I didn't feel like it was coming from your own belief system, right? And the second one is, again, who's defining organization? Whose definition have you taken on, right? Organization doesn't have to be rigid or strict or, something that's daunting. If you made organization to be fun, you can combine the best of the both worlds. Again, that's the limiting definition that you have in your head. So if you do want to be an organized person, if you think that's going to lead you to success, then how can you combine the two and redefine what organization means to you? Right? That's my invitation for you to think about. And the other thing Heather was saying that I do want to again highlight is you have a daughter. Again, I'm a mom, so I'm sharing my own experience here is because you said she's a very challenging person in a positive way. What does your daughter do that you think back to yourself and say that, hey, I wish I was more like her?
A lot.
There is a reason, right? We learn so much, not just from adults in our lives, but from the little ones in our life. I learn plenty from my son every single day. He's like a slap in my face, right? So, but you also share, you don't have to be like the strongest person holding everything together all the time in front of your daughter. right? She needs to understand that life is not perfect and we all make mistakes, we all fail, we all have imperfections, and she needs to see that my mom isn't perfect, yet she's the most amazing woman or mother that I have. And I think more often than not, this is not just for you, for everyone else, right? We try to shield our kids from the fact that we are flawed in whatever ways we are flawed. But the more we open up our flaws in front of them and say, show to them how are we trying to, change those flaws for the better, they won't be afraid to make mistakes. They won't be fearful of showing their own flaws, right? So just be you and tell her that, go ahead and tell her you do this, which I absolutely love. I wish I could be more like this. It's encouraging to her. It's also like role models, right? Role models don't have to be people who appear on, TV and, who are big shot influencers. Role models are all around us and in your own home. And okay, one last thing is again, tool for everybody else is, I think Pri brought this up earlier where he was asking you, how can you when there is a trigger from some other person, what could you do to rewire that belief? I would also say, instead of trying to fight that belief, fight that feeling, allow yourself to give yourself permission to feel whatever you're feeling, right? We have this tool that we use, which is called the OM. For those who don't know, it's observe, acknowledge, and move on. OAM. Observe what's happening, what's coming up for you, acknowledge those feelings. And when you acknowledge those feelings, the way, because you already said this is the way you probably will move on next time, is by replacing that feeling. How are you going to empower yourself, right? We don't want to push those feelings deep down. We want to acknowledge and make sure, yes, these feelings came up for me. There's nothing wrong in that. So just being open to that. That's it, Eman. I spoke too much, but love you loads and can't wait to meet you again in a month or 3 and see all the powerful things you will be doing just being you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eman. And I just want to, like, you got so much wisdom. I was like taking notes too for everything like everyone shared today. But I want to give you kind of the closing statement, 1 minute of what are you bringing home today with you?
I'm bringing in, the word that comes to mind is bravery. I choose to be brave and carve my path to success. That's what I'm taking home today.
Wow.
Mic drop.
That couldn't
That's
be.
all I have to say. Mic drop. Eman, that's how we want to end the show.
Yes, there couldn't be like better way to end this episode. Thank you again. And for everyone watching, please subscribe and watch the whole 3 episodes with Eman to follow her journey. And we are looking forward to, as Kusum said, like to recount and like to see where your journey brings you to. And we'll also look forward to our next guest. See you next week, everyone. Bye. Thank you.
If any part of these sessions resonate with you, please subscribe to this channel, like, comment, or share this episode with someone you think will benefit. We hope you find these sessions valuable, and we are most definitely open to feedback so that we can serve you better and increase our impact and reach. We want you to know how much we love and appreciate you.